All right, so I'm going to be honest for a minute. All right, so I'm going to tell you something that maybe not many people tell you. Most of the reason that a lot of people don't make it in life is not because they're not smart or capable. They're not dumb. It's not like they don't have the same abilities that somebody else has. A lot of the times it comes down to just a lack of focus, just simply being distracted. You're super distracted. You say you want something, you say you're going to do something, but you always allow very simple little distractions, menial stuff, to get in the way of what you say that you want. And essentially what you're saying is that you don't really want what you say that you want. Does that make sense? The interesting thing about distraction is that it's very acceptable in our society. Everybody's distracted. Everybody's on their cell phone for hours and hours at a time, not being productive. You sit on Instagram. It always baffles me. It blows me away, honestly. People sit on Instagram for hours and you're broke. You sit on TikTok for hours, not as a business person, not as a researcher, as a consumer, and you are broke. Why are you on Instagram and TikTok for so long? Do something with yourself. Use that time to be productive. Use that time to grow. Use that time to learn. You could at least go to social media as a researcher, right? Looking at people who are actually making money and say, okay, what is it that they're doing that I can apply to make money as well? But instead of doing that, you come as a consumer and you like, you share, you save. And at the end of the day, you're no closer to doing anything with your life. You're completely stagnant, but you're so high on dopamine, you can't even realize that you're failing at life and it's your own fault. And it's called distraction. It's something that has become so acceptable that is sickening in our culture because everybody is distracted. Everybody is so consumed by social media and consumed by entertainment that they can't even realize that their life is completely passing them by. I'm not trying to yell and I'm trying to keep my emotions under control, but I want to be very clear. I'm talking to a specific type of person right now, okay? I'm talking to the person who is living paycheck to paycheck. You know, there's a lot of people that I meet and that I know, being that I'm a pastor, you know, outside of this, and I meet people who they know that there's more. They want to do more with their life, but they do nothing. They know they're supposed to be doing more, but they do absolutely nothing. And the thing that is even more baffling is that they don't do anything about it. So I'm talking to those people who are stuck in life and you feel stuck. You know you're stuck. You're constantly, you know, you're so obsessed with motivational videos. You're so obsessed with different social media things. You watch people constantly who are successful and they're living the life that you're supposed to be living, but still you're doing nothing about it. And it comes a time in your life where you just have to get tired of it. Where you have to get tired of not making it. You have to get tired of making excuses. You have to get tired of being distracted and decide you're going to be focused. You know, sometimes you can tell yourself you want the better life. You want to build a legacy for your kids. I hear a lot of people talk about they want to break generational curses and cycles, but you'll never do that if you continue to allow yourself to be distracted. It'll never happen. It'll be from a dream to a straight up fantasy because you're not doing the things that you're supposed to do simply on the basis of being distracted and not being focused. One of the greatest things you can learn in life is to be completely focused, to have complete tunnel vision until you accomplish your goal, to have complete tunnel vision until you accomplish your destiny. Some people call it monk mode, where you just disappear and you just grow and you just build and grow and you don't tell anybody anything. And the next thing they know, you've made it. You understand? You have to be that type of person because talking about it is not going to get you there. Simply having a mouth service and talking about it and saying what you want to do. See, I even got to the point in my own life where I stopped talking to people about my dreams and stuff like that because I realized that they weren't doing anything. We would sit around and talk about money and talk about making money and talk about what we would do with money. And then I looked around, I was like, but after we talk, there's no action. It's just a bunch of distraction. So I decided to quit talking to people about it and just start doing secretly without telling anybody anything. Because the more you sit around and talk about something, it goes from being a dream to an expectation or a hope to just being a fantasy, to just being something that is so far gone from reality that you never accomplish anything because you just become comfortable. You can't afford to be comfortable. A lot of people like to see a distraction as something that's very harmless, right? A movie seems harmless, right? Going out with your friends seems harmless. Scrolling on Instagram or TikTok seems harmless. But the thing about it is that it's not harmless at all. It's deadly and it costs you. It costs you your dreams. It costs you your destiny. It costs you your business growth. It costs you starting a business at all. Because that amount of time that you give into those meaningless acts, those useless activities that you do, to make yourself feel better about where you are in life. They're costing you your progress that is so important for your growth. And here's another thing you need to think about. Every time you get distracted and you don't carry out the task or the action that you meant to carry out, you're training yourself to quit, and you're training yourself to be okay with quitting. It's like you're forming this loop in your brain that says, I said I was going to do it, but I didn't do it, and it's okay. You know what I'm saying? And people try to do that like to make, no, you don't need to make yourself feel better. You just need to carry out and do what you said you're going to do. You need to carry out your own commitments to yourself. If you can't carry out your own commitments to yourself, how in the world should anybody else expect you to carry out your commitments to them? I want you to understand something, and I think it's pretty obvious by now. I'm not here to hype you up. This is not a motivational video. Motivation most of the time is a bunch of crap because it's based off of emotion. Your emotions fluctuate. They go up and they go down. But one thing that is constant, and it must be constant in order for you to be successful, is discipline. You have to be disciplined day in and day out. I'm here to train you and to help you. I'm here to help you build a disciplined lifestyle. I'm here to help you stay focused and quit being so distracted by our society, which is full of distractions. Because the truth is, you don't need necessarily more encouragement. You need systems. You need structure. You need repeatable processes that will lead you to the goal, that will lead you to the success that you so long for, that deep inside you know you were built for. That's why you get so miserable when you look at your bank account. That's why you get so miserable when you look at your surroundings, because you know you were meant for more. You know you were meant for success. You know you were meant for wealth. You know you wasn't meant to work for somebody. That's why you get so irritated by your manager. And your manager ain't even doing nothing irritating. They're just doing their job. But because you know you were meant for more, it irritates you to get that text message. It irritates you to read that email. It irritates you to have to go to the office when you know you could do the same thing that you're doing at the office at home. It irritates you because you were made for more. But the problem is you get so distracted, and sometimes you can get so comfortable where you're at that you fail to work on yourself. You fail to progress in life because of these things. This is something I want you to realize. The real enemy is not that you don't have potential. The real enemy is that you're lacking the self-control and the focus that is necessary to hit the target. You have to be focused. So sometimes, in essence, you can be your own worst enemy because you're the one who's not focused. You're the one who's constantly being distracted. You're the one who's constantly making excuses not to do something. We live in a society that's constantly overstimulating us, right? We have to have our phone in our hand to get that hit of dopamine every other hour, or else we feel bored, we feel lethargic, we feel useless, we don't work out, we don't do anything that we said we're gonna do, and we're falling behind in life. Time is simply passing you by. Everybody's celebrating 2026, a new year, new me. But you can't have a new year and a new you if you don't have new habits, if you don't have new disciplines, if you don't have new structures, if you don't have new systems that are designed and crafted to make sure that you hit the mark of being a success. And in this case, we're speaking, you can apply this anywhere. It doesn't just have to be money related. It can be fitness. It can be health. It can be friendships and relationships. It can be just being a better parent, being a better husband or a wife. But these distractions can hinder you and ultimately kill your destiny and your purpose and the intention that you have for your own life. So here's what we're gonna do right now, not next week, not tomorrow, not even tonight. We're gonna do it right now, today. I'm going to give you a simple, very simple 3-step plan that you can follow right now and start making progress and intentionally training and conditioning your mind to be more focused. Okay? Step 1 is to simply remove the trigger. Remove the trigger. When you go into your office and you're about to go work on content for your brand, right? Get rid of your cell phone. Just be on your computer, or put your cell phone on do not disturb. Put it on silent. Let your family know I'm going to be working, so don't come knock on the door. You know what I'm saying? Anything that's going to be a trigger, going to be a distraction, get rid of it. Throw it out so that you can fully focus on what you're supposed to be focusing on and create a clutter-free, distraction-less environment. You have to control your environment. You have to learn to be a master of your environment, and that's in anywhere in life, especially when it comes to fulfilling your purpose and your destiny. You have to control your environment. So get rid of the distractions. Get rid of those triggers that cause you to, you're focusing on things, then you're like, oh, let me check this. Oh, let me click this email. Oh, let me check that notification. You understand? Get rid of the triggers. The next thing you need to do is to replace the behavior. And what I mean is, when you feel that temptation to be distracted, instantly have a replacement behavior that you'll do automatically. Okay, this is like psychology stuff. This is stuff that's like tested and proven to work. So what you want to do is have something that's, you already have it preset. This is what I'm going to do when I feel distracted. Anytime you feel distracted, you feel like you're starting to go down that endless loop of scrolling. You know, you ever go on TikTok just to maybe check your page to see how many likes you got or something, and next thing you know, you're on the feed and you're going through the feed and you've been there for like 45 minutes to an hour. That's been me before, okay? You have to have an automatic, whenever you feel yourself going in that direction, you have to have an automatic response. So like, let's say when you feel yourself scrolling on TikTok too much, you're doing 20 push-ups. When you feel yourself scrolling too much, you're reading a page of a book about business, a book about money, a book about mindset, a book about that's going to help you reach further towards fulfilling your goals and your destiny. You understand? Have these things written down. You just have it written down like on an index card, on a piece of notebook paper, something like that, that you can have handy, that you can see constantly, that you can say, okay, whenever I feel distracted, I'm doing 20 push-ups. Whenever I feel distracted, I'm reading a page of this book on money. Whenever I feel distracted, I'm reading a page on this book on psychology, this book on relationships, this book on business. You understand? You have to have these things already set in mind. So replace the behavior. That's step 2. Step 3 is to lock in what I call a focus block daily. What that looks like is that you're dedicating a block of time. It's like a date with yourself. It's a date with destiny, literally, because you're setting a date where you set a block of time, 30 minutes. I actually recommend an hour, but you can start off with 30 minutes if this is like completely new to you. And you can set out an hour of time where you're just focusing only on your purpose, your dream, that vision. You're focusing on it. It's like vision time, where you're meditating on it. You're thinking about what you want to do, and then you're taking steps to execute. Maybe you're writing up a business plan. Maybe you're researching how to even do a business plan, right? Maybe you're starting to write that first page of the book you've been meaning to write. You're starting to write out your bio of your new business page that you want to build, right? You're posting, you're recording content rather than posting it, or you could be posting it as well. You can edit videos, do things that are going to push you further towards that vision, further towards that place of destiny that's going to help you ultimately become financially free, ultimately live that lifestyle that you want to live, and have that success that you really know that you were meant for. And I want you to think about this for a minute. If you can watch a movie for an hour, you can work on your purpose for an hour. If you can scroll on Instagram for an hour, you can work on your purpose for an hour. You understand? If you can sit here and be entertained by nonsense for an hour, or useless conversations with family members and friends for an hour, you can work on yourself for 1 hour. And if you would do that 1 hour, even just 5 days a week, you would change your life. You really need to think about that. If you would give yourself 1 hour every day to focus on bettering yourself, honestly bettering yourself, legitimately educating yourself, bettering yourself in a specific area that you know that you need to grow in, you would completely change your life by the end of 2026, and you'll be a completely different person. And then that whole new year, new you won't just be a cliche saying, it'll be a reality for you. And you'll level up on people who have been around you your whole life, who have been stagnant and in the same place, and they'll be wondering how you got where you got. And it's not magic. It's simply you decide to be disciplined and focused. Now, what you can see happen a lot of times is that people can become basically just disappointed, not lazy. They're so disappointed that they're just tired of trying. They're like, hey, I started to do something, but I gave up. I was gonna do it, but I gave up. But you can't afford to give up. That's just the thing. You can't afford to stop. You can't afford to quit. You can't afford to be anything other than completely disciplined. Just completely give yourself a chance for a year straight. Completely give yourself a chance by just being disciplined and focused for 365 straight days. You understand? Just say, I'm going to give 2026 the best I have to get out of poverty. I'm going to give 2026 everything I got to get off of this 9-to-5 job so I don't have to keep reporting to a manager anymore. I'm going to give 2026 the best I have to break past a 5-figure income, to get into the 6-figure income, to get into an income where I'm independent of a W-2 job situation. So you have to basically relinquish your thoughts of the past and past failures, and allow yourself to take on a new identity. Allow yourself to take on a paradigm shift, to allow your thoughts to be reformed and see yourself differently as somebody who can be disciplined, who can be focused, and who can concentrate on their purpose and on their vision for 1 hour every day. So there you have it, the 3 steps, okay? A 3-step plan to get rid of distractions and to start focusing today. Get rid of the triggers, all right? Replace the behavior and have one focus block hour per day to work on your vision or your plan. I hope this blessed you. I want you to like and share with other people who you feel like will benefit, and I'll see you in the next one. God bless.